globalization of journalism. And this is also partly another trend which is quite interesting, which is to see what is really more in common and shared as common values between journalists and what is really specific to journalists. And of course, one of the core issues is in this, ingrained in this very huge diversity, how and what is specific to covering EU affairs. It's true that within the media themselves, there is a tendency of thinking that this is boring, basically. It's, of course, quite difficult to interest in the news gathering, in the agenda setting. It's quite difficult to interest about European issues, except, of course, when there is a major crisis which becomes international. But in this very particular case, all the journalists around the table have experienced the difficulty in selling subjects to their own news desk at home in order to be interesting and in order to really cover not only the crisis as the major events, but also the daily construction European events. So this is probably also a question that we may raise, is why is it so? Is it something very specific about covering EU affairs, which is an unknown object as compared to international news or whatever? And I think this is also a clue that we should try to elaborate on. Coming back to Euronet itself, of course, and this is not a magic recipe, we try to address some of the points which were addressed by Isabelle Durand. We try to do what we label cross-border journalism. We try to go beyond borders. We try to see not only built on the national forces of each of the individual journalistic cultures and radios, how we can cope with the subject on the different angles from the